With the increased surface area of a scaling organization, what new roles, if any, become necessary to lead a team of teams unit? How do these roles work together? Who fills these roles? What functional disciplines are represented in team of teams leadership? Choices here are critical, and they can dramatically impact organizational dynamics and morale. Welcome to Agile Scaling Foundations with Barry Hawkins. Please be sure to like and subscribe. This video series is based on training that I've delivered over the years, both as a product development leader building teams internally and as a consultant helping clients scale their organizations as well. In this episode, I'll cover the roles that lead a team of teams unit. The team level roles that are a part of effective development process provide a great foundation for understanding the nuances of the team of teams leadership roles. First, we have the cross-functional team members. These are all of the individual persons from the various functional disciplines that it takes to make our product. They are grouped together on these clearly chartered teams to move ideas from concept to live. Next, we have the team steward role. This person has as their core charter to steward the health and effectiveness of the development team, meaning how well this team is doing at working together as a cross-functional unit and how well they are moving work through themselves as a group. An important distinction in the team steward role is that the person filling this role should typically have sufficient domain knowledge about what the team works on to know what good and healthy looks like. So for example, if this person is working with an engineering team, they understand the kind of software engineering that team does and the nuances of how that work is meant to be done and what it looks like when it's being done well according to the norms defined by the organization. Or, as another example, if this were a game art team, this person understands how the art for this team is developed, what their asset pipelines look like, and how an effective flow of the work through that team should look. And finally, the stewarding of the health and effectiveness is primarily done through the facilitation of the development process. That is, in how this team brings in new outcomes, discusses possible approaches, breaks that work down, provides estimates around it, and then executes on that work and reflects on how each cycle or periodic check-in goes. All of that work involved in that cycle, the team steward is facilitating that to ensure that the best possible conversations and interactions and dialogue are happening. Third, we have the product steward role. This person has as their core charter to steward the vision for the product or products that this team works on. And by extension, the backlog that represents their work queue and the roadmap that presents their longer-term projections. A key distinction with an effective development process approach to this role is that this person engages the team to inform the approach, timelines, and commitments that are being made. No member of this team should ever be surprised by a roadmap or a timeline that the product steward provides to stakeholders, dependent teams, or our customers. Lastly, this role is crucial in driving stakeholder alignment. That is, as we encounter inevitable shifts in the content or priority order of the items in our backlog, this person is making sure that our stakeholders know as soon as those changes happen so that they're not surprised or disappointed, but also so that stakeholders are reminded that while there may be some things that are being deferred in our backlog, there are other things that have been prioritized in service of their interests, which is also true for all of our other stakeholders. At the team of teams level, we now have several of those cross-functional teams with their team stewards and product stewards grouped together, and we now need a leadership group that ensures that these are all working together and that their combined efforts are well orchestrated. The first of those roles at the team of teams level is the team of teams team steward. Just as the team steward at the team level looks over the health and effectiveness of their individual team, at the team of teams level, this person is ensuring that health and effectiveness at a group-wide scale is being maintained. So they're checking in with the individual team stewards on how development process is working. They're keeping an eye on the development process metrics and artifacts to ensure that there's a degree of quality and uniformity being maintained, and they are also the go-to person for ensuring that the combined schedule of all of these teams ladders up into and is represented by an overarching schedule that shows how all of this work is coming together at the right time and is exposing where dependencies or conflicts or blockages could be risking those top level outcomes. In close partnership with the team of teams team steward is the product steward that serves at the team of teams level. This person is responsible for shepherding that overall vision for what this group of teams is working on. So they're typically looking at a portfolio backlog that has not user stories and epics, but rather initiatives, large outcomes that span several teams in this group and possibly even dependencies outside this group. They're ensuring that that vision remains cohesive and that this higher altitude group of stakeholders are being kept abreast of new developments and changes, driving alignment when large trade-offs need to be made, and also ensuring that the product vision for each of the team groups dovetails well into the overall vision for this product or part of the product that they're all responsible for. It is also common to have one or more discipline leaders as part of the team of teams leadership. These persons represent the functional disciplines that are represented in the different teams that make up a team of teams unit. They ensure that for their functional discipline, that the standards, norms, practices, and strategies that they have are being represented in both how the work is being executed at the team level and that it's being represented as large-scale initiatives are being brought into this team of teams group and how they end up being approached. For example, let's look at some of the most common discipline leaders that you find in mainstream software development organizations. There's typically an engineering leader, quality leader, and design or UX leader. So each of these are ensuring that our engineering practices, quality practices, how we manage test suites, regression, and that our design principles and standards and guidelines, as well as the preservation of our user experiences, are being maintained. Another example would be a game development team of teams where you would certainly have these disciplines likely represented, but additionally other disciplines like art and game design. The team steward and product steward roles at the team of teams level are fairly senior roles. If you think about the fact that on average for each development team, you have anywhere from 8 to 10 persons in each development team, you could be looking at an overall group of 60 plus people. And that's a fairly decent development group. So the persons heading these up should have a good degree of experience at operating at some degree of scale before taking on these roles. The team steward role is typically taken on by a delivery management functional discipline. In traditional software development organizations, this is sometimes a technical program management discipline or a delivery management, development management discipline. In video game development, this is often a producer or production discipline, or the other highly common title here is development manager within video games. The team steward role is sometimes taken on by the engineering discipline if they are the ones that have historically been running with development process. But it's important to note that once you get to this scale, the amount of development process, dependency coordination, and scheduling that's involved typically goes well beyond being a side job of engineering management. And as such, this is usually the point at which a dedicated delivery management discipline is introduced into the organization. The product steward role at the team of teams level in traditional software development companies is most often undertaken by a product management functional discipline. In video game studios, this role is typically done by either game design, or it's a bit of a shared responsibility between production and game design, where game design is more of the vision and creative aspect of the product stewardship role. There's considerable nuance to the team steward, product steward, and design steward roles at the team of teams level, and each warrants their own video. But the intent here is to give you an idea of these roles, why they exist, what the core of their charter is, and how they work together. It is sometimes assumed that the people in the team, product, and discipline steward roles at the team of teams level would be the functional managers of their counterparts at the team level. But this is not necessarily true. In fact, at the scale and ratio that most team of teams groups operate at, it doesn't necessarily make sense to have that sort of grouping. The relationship between team level and team of teams level roles is really one of coordination and less of line management. As you compose your team of teams leadership teams, consider which functional disciplines you are and are not putting into those groups. The absence of certain functional disciplines can create a bit of imbalance in terms of voice and agency for the different disciplines, and you can find yourself thinking that you've maybe saved some headcount, but only at the expense of very challenging organizational dynamics down the road. Thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notifications icon so that you'll be first to know when new Agile Scaling Foundations episodes and other product development videos are uploaded. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in dedicated videos around the Team Steward, Product Steward, and Discipline Steward roles, and what questions you have about those. For the next episode of Agile Scaling Foundations, be sure to check out the video up here. For the entire Agile Foundation series, check out the playlist down here. Again, I'm Barry Hawkins. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.